woman without a crystal ball. Welcome back to my channel. All right, you guys, we have an update on Britney Spears. So there's been a lot of push the last few months regarding Britney Spears and her conservatorship and this whole Britney Spears movement. And there has been some updates that happened yesterday in court related to Britney and this case. And I was actually over the weekend, this is my sort of opinion here of how you could actually better understand this, is Dr. Todd Grande actually made a video about the ins and outs of what a conservatorship is, why they're needed, what they do to help, and how they are beneficial for someone, and whether or not, you know, there's any credibility around FreeBritney and what it would mean for her to actually be able to exit this and how it would work. And he definitely cleared up a lot of misconceptions that I think have been floating around. And he was he was unbiased. He was very just presenting information that he knew as an expert in the world of mental health. And he presented a very, I'd say, clear understanding of what they do, how they work, and how it can benefit somebody like Britney.
In mind, we turn to the idea of the Free Britney movement. What are people trying to free Britney from? I think really becomes the question. What is the prison in this situation? Being told what to do, not being able to make decisions, having to be treated for unspecified mental health symptoms, or behaving in a manner whereby one could lose everything, having untreated symptoms, being placed in danger. So I think the key here is to look at the word free. Again, what would people prefer Britney be free from? In theory, there are dangers both inside and outside of a conservatorship. So it's really not clear what is in her best interest.
So if you want information, I'll put that down in the description box so that you can watch that. But I want to update you now about what happened yesterday in court. So leading up to all of this, there has been a lot of questions about, is she going to be able to get out of this conservatorship that she has been in since 2007, shortly after she had this really big public meltdown where she was, you know, driving all over the nights with paparazzi, actually dating paparazzi, making some of the paparazzi her managers, going into a salon that she had no connection to, shaving off her head, driving with her child on her seat, attacking a paparazzi with an umbrella, locking herself in her house, having to be taken out by authorities, having to be committed, you know, losing custody of her children, you know, wandering aimlessly, using a fake British accent. Lots of stuff were going on. And I actually watched a bunch of stuff back from 2007 to sort of understand like everything that was happening back then, because I admit, like, I kind of forgot about it. But after watching everything, it's pretty clear why this happened and why she needed help. But people now are like, well, why does she still need help? And there's this whole Free Britney movement that says that she's sending these messages on her Instagram through different outfits and all this different stuff. And even leading up to yesterday's court hearing, her sister, Lynn, was like on Instagram and she was defending her sister. And she actually kind of clapped back at some of the people that had things to say about her sister and, you know, what people in the family are doing. And someone on Instagram actually said, you guys need to speak out and clarify all of these assumptions. I love you, but around the sensitive situation, some clarification is needed for both sides. People need to understand and not assume. To which Jamie responded, I would never speak out just to clarify things to the public when the person it pertains to does not want that to happen. I'd rather take all the hate than speak about someone else's personal matter that they want to be kept private. So Lynn says for her sister Britney that Britney actually wants all of this to be private. She doesn't want people to talk about this. This isn't anyone's business. She doesn't want people to know. She just wants to sort of go on with her life. You know, and she had a ton of responses on there, but she shared a photo, and this was kind of leading up to everything related to Kanye West and sort of what was going on Twitter. But this is what she wrote. She said, if you deal with mental illness or care for someone dealing with mental illness, then you know how important it is to respect the situation with privacy for the person and the family trying to protect their loved one, no matter how it may appear to the public. And the public, we must learn to do the same. I pray that this doesn't bring shame to anyone dealing with mental illness. You are not alone and you are loved. Sending all my love and prayers to her. To you guys. So she was basically sort of saying, like, listen, like, you guys don't understand all the details. Even though you want to have information about what's going on with Britney, just trust that everyone's doing their best for her. And Jamie and her sister have, or Jamie and Britney have always had a pretty close relationship. Well, Jamie is quite a bit younger than her. She has always sort of defended and been there for her sister. And in another, when someone actually like came at her and said, "How about your sister's obvious mental illness? Why don't you speak on that?" And she said, you have no right to assume anything about my sister, and I have no right to speak about her health and personal matters. She is strong. She's a strong, badass, unstoppable woman, and that's the only thing that is obvious. And then she actually shared this in her Instagram stories, and she said, "Y'all know how I get about my family. Just ask that neighborhood lady who ran her loud mouth. Well then, move the F out," and Britney badass, obviously. So she's telling people to like back off, stop doing this whole thing, like stop assuming that everything going on here is wrong. She wants people to respect Britney's privacy, and she's even saying Britney wants you to respect her privacy. So there's that. Now, this kind of coincides with what happened yesterday. So yesterday there was a court hearing in California to discuss matters related to the conservatorship. So apparently this is sort of what happens. There's a rally, or a small rally outside of the courthouse, where a bunch of people that are part of this Free Britney movement show up with signs, and they're in masks, and they're there to support Britney. Now, apparently the court, because of everything that's going on with the pandemic, people were not there, and people were supposed to come in via video conference. Well, apparently Jamie and her mom, Jamie Spears, her father, and her mom, Lynn, were able to get into and on via video conference, but Britney was having some technical difficulties getting connected. And unfortunately, she was unable to attend. She was there for a minute, and then she disconnected. So she wasn't there to speak, but they weren't really there to discuss necessarily the conservatorship. They were just going over some motions. And this is what happened. Now, The Blast, a outlet, actually got a copy of the minutes from LA Superior Court, and the people in attendance were her attorney, her father, Jamie, her mother, Lynn Spears. There was her attorney, or Jamie's attorney, and then like 3 other attorneys, all part of this conservatorship, I'm guessing, and then the judge. And this is what the order says. It's that the nature for the hearing was to decide on a motion to seal documents, which was filed by Jamie Spears on March 12th, 2020. And this is what the note said. It says, Gerald Cohn, Geraldine Wild, Jody Montgomery, Lynn Spears, Samuel Ingham, Jamie Spears, Loriam Wright, Gladstone N. Jones, and Otis King. The motion seal filed for March 12th, 2020 by Jamie P. Spears is granted. The court grants the motion to seal the transcript, conditionally seal the status report filed pending a further motion, and the motion is to clear and close the courtroom. James Spears is ordered to prepare the order after hearing. So basically what happened is Jamie requested that all of the documents related to this conservatorship be sealed, that any transcripts from hearings be sealed, and that the court be closed for any hearings, meaning the media cannot attend the hearings, meaning that there would be no public documents that would come out of these hearings, meaning that this entire matter would be closed to the public. No one would have access. And it says that it's conditionally sealing the documents pending a further motion. So he has to do another motion, and then they are doing a motion to clear and close the courtroom. So basically, this is going to remove any more speculation about what's going on. It would be a way to protect her medical records and any records that pertain to this case. You know, it's unique in this instance that any of these documents would be public, because typically when it comes to matters related to mental health, those kinds of records would be sealed because of the Privacy Protection Acts that prevent patients' records from being public. And in this case, it appears as though everything is going to be sealed. So people moving forward are not going to be able to know anything about what happens unless something leaks. So if one of the family members or someone in court decides to make a public statement, so say, you know, there's another court hearing scheduled for August 19th. And that is when, so This conservatorship is actually, it's a year-to-year conservatorship, meaning every single year they have to annually review everything and make a decision, decide like, how do you move forward? Are you going to stay in this conservatorship or are you not? There are typically benchmarks that Britney would have to meet from the court, which would help her obtain more rights through this conservatorship. She would be able to move forward. Now, last year, she requested a lot of stuff from the judge, what the judge did not approve. She wanted more time with her children. She wanted unsupervised time with her children. She wanted more freedom. Everything was denied. So Britney is given guidelines by the court that she has to meet through doctors and through lawyers and through all the parts of the team. And then if she can't meet those, they make decisions on whether or not the extension would happen. Now, the one thing I will note is that in Dr. Grande's video, he did discuss how it really comes down to Britney whether or not she gets there. It's not necessarily the dad that makes the decision. It's not the judge that makes the decision. It's a whole humongous working team. And what I thought was relevant about what Dr. Grande said was that in order to believe that she is being held in this against her will, you would have to believe that there's this massive conspiracy between attorneys, her dad, her family, her friends, the courts, social workers. All of these people, doctors, would have to be conspiring to do this, which is not, it's pretty unbelievable if you think about it in that respect. He also said that it's not uncommon for these types of conservatorships to have to continue for life, and that it could very well be something that benefits her and allows her to be productive. And he also mentioned in that same video that people like Britney might be able to do well in areas like work where she loves to dance and sing, but she may not have the capabilities to manage finances or make decisions where she would be able to not involve herself with, substances, or, not having the wherewithal of what kind of people to surround herself with. She basically has aspects in her life where she can function, but other aspects where she can't. And this is there to help her with the financial and that kind of aspects. So again, I would encourage you to watch the video by Dr. Grande. I thought it was a really good, unbiased perspective that kind of gets away from the hype around this, and you can better understand what's going on there. Now, some people will say, Jamie, Lynn, her sister, is just another mouthpiece for the family, that the Free Britney movement will say, well, it's all a conspiracy. There's still going to be people that are concerned that she's, still not getting what she needs. And at the end of the day, I think no matter what happens here, this is definitely a private issue. And if Britney doesn't want to talk about it, and if the court is saying that we need to seal it, I would suggest for the Free Britney movement, that you stop pushing for something that maybe she doesn't want, because you don't know all the details. We only know stuff that happened from 10 years ago, 13 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, I think the speculation of her being held almost can create just a circus, in my opinion. Now, you might not agree with me, and that's totally fine. But obviously, once everything comes out at her hearing in August, if anything is revealed at that point, we can start talking about, will it be extended? I'm guessing that this is going to be a lifetime conservatorship. That's just my best guess at this point, because it's been such a long time. It's been 13 years, and she hasn't had the best year. She's got, she's had issues with her gym. She had to quit working because of her unstableness. Her medication stopped working. She stopped taking her meds. There's just a lot going on here. But if Britney's happy and if Britney is wanting this to be private, then maybe Free Britney people need to respect that. I don't know. Tell me what your thoughts are. What do you think about sealing the documents? What do you think about her sister defending her? What do you think about this entire thing? And do you think that Britney Spears will eventually get better, or will this be something that she deals with for life? All right, you guys, I'll be back later with more.